Silver has broken records in several areas, with one being very important, especially in China. I'll explain what that is and what it could mean for the overall market in general with regards to silver in this video as we explore. China is a very important part of the silver market in general, and what happens there may not necessarily reflect in the price per se, but I think it is a contributing factor to silver's price reaching above $50 an ounce. In fact, just this past week, we saw silver maintain above $50 an ounce in the ask price every single day of the week. That is a thing to celebrate, but it's also a thing to keep in mind that could be a problem in the future. And that is what we're talking about with China. And the Shanghai Gold Exchange and the Futures Exchange there is under great stress right now. Now, London was where the focal point was with the previous portion of a silver squeeze, which I don't know how you would categorize at this point. I think, in a sense, we are still operating under probably an overall silver squeeze 2.0, where the squeeze is happening on the vaults from the major precious metal houses, especially in the London Bullion Market Association and the Shanghai Gold Exchange and the Futures Exchange. Oriental Ghost has reported at the last trading day of this week here on November the 21st that the vaults at the Shanghai Futures Exchange has fallen to yet another new low. Indeed, and if this continues, well, it could be possible that we may see a collapse. Let me give you some perspective on this and why this is not hyperbole. There's a sharp depletion of the Shanghai Future Exchange vaults of silver to about 519,272 kilograms. That's about 16.7 million ounces as of the 21st of November, with total Chinese stockpiles, including the Shanghai Gold Exchange, equating to roughly 25 million ounces, or about 3% of annual global mine production of approximately 830 million ounces. Now, that kind of comparison really just kind of puts it into perspective. It does not necessarily mean that they're going to collapse yet, but nonetheless, the fact that this is yet another fresh new low to the vaults tells us something, especially with rumors that they were shutting down the exporting of silver out of their vaults. And those rumors obviously were not substantiated because it looks like it's still happening. So when you put into another form of perspective, it really does make even more sense that it is a concerning matter. But nonetheless, Summit Metals, the channel sponsor, they've got plenty of silver in their vaults if you want to buy it. And that's just it. There's a difference between the retail market and the market that is trading for the ETFs and the like. And right now, I posted a video not long ago about how you will benefit from what's going on with happening in the retail market. So check out Summit Metals by clicking on the link down in the description below and experience their great customer service for yourself. So this represents 13 to 15 days of global industrial silver demand, which is around 1.6 million ounces daily, based off of the estimates from this year and last from the Silver Institute. So this really does give a sense of the tightness in the market that we're seeing in China right now. It's eased in London, but it is squeezed out here in China. And really it's been like this for a long enough time, as we've seen the markets kind of deplete a bit, or the vaults deplete a bit, that we have seen a higher close of the silver price in China for a number of months now. For the most part, there have been exceptions to that, above where it is here in the United States. There's 3 different prices I'm going to report to you now here on the weekend before the markets open. Silver closed in the United States in the ask price at $50.06. The bid price was $49.94. And we have reached another portion where the silver price, the futures price, is now back in contango. That means it's higher than the silver price, than the spot price. It's at $50.33, according to CWU measure here from the COMEX. So there is, now we're not in backwardation, which means that there's not as much of a supply chain issue here in the U.S. and between the U.S. and London. That is certainly good news, but China is feeling the pressure big time because its closing price that we saw on November the 21st was $51.17. So it's gone up. And that change, by the way, from previous trading session was about 3.31%. And so that is, and then we've seen the vaults, deplete more and more. So that's pretty amazing that we're seeing that. And it's quite telling as to what's going on in the market and what's going on in China in particular. Now, we have seen this kind of move that it amplifies, bullish sentiment in the silver community. And we've seen, obviously that the potential price surge, especially if it gets down even worse than this, if it falls, if they run out of silver, does that mean a collapse? I don't think it necessarily means a collapse, but if we still continue to see pressure on those vaults and the price move up even more, because they're not going to buy as much if the price continues to rise. And right now it did not fall probably as much as some had hoped on Friday and Thursday as well. And so this could be a potential combination, a combo factor, a 1-2 punch, if you will, with continued depletion of the vaults without a freeze and the rising price. And so that is something that is concerning now, because we've never been this low before with the SGE and SHFE vaults here, according to Oriental Ghost. This is a new low. So this is uncharted territory when it's all said and done. And with the London vaults now, kind of still low, but not nearly as in a dire situation as they were in the past. And the COMEX, they're continuing to bleed out silver too. They're shipping it to London, but still there's enough there because we were in excess here in the United States, which I think is one reason why the price has not fluctuated as much and not gone up. But this only can mean that silver's price will likely not fall much below probably where it is now. If it does, maybe $5 or $6 maybe to the downside, there's that cushion. But I think this amplifies the position that we're likely going to see silver's support be up fairly high until this can be resolved, because it is an interesting situation there in China. I'm not sure what the background is or what necessarily this could mean, but if this continues, well, they could just run out. It is quite possible. When we see and there's a lot of people posting about this over at X, by the way. We got that PM Bug says, gold and silver both down from yesterday's close, while silver remains at a premium and gold remains more or less on par with LBMA spot. The Shanghai Futures Exchange Silver Vault reports yet another large outflow. Maybe LBMA is not delivering to China. Of course, they don't have any reason to because they need the silver themselves. Maybe demand is just that great. It very well could be. I don't know where that silver is going. Is it going to the people of China? Is it going to other agencies and what have you? I don't know. But this is something else, especially when we're seeing the Shanghai price go up to $51.17 an ounce. So very, very interesting indeed. Fascinating. And I'm not sure what is going to happen from here. It'd be very interesting to follow along and see how this thing will play out. The East and the West and the arbitrage opportunities that could come into play there very well could be very volatile in the coming week. Aside from everything else that's going on, the normal geopolitics, and the talk about another rate cut in December, I think is all going to play a role in the silver price and movements, and potentially even some of the demand from some of these vaults. So it is interesting. It's fascinating. We'll keep an eye on it here. This is a channel that likes to bring you the latest news in the world of precious metals. If you enjoy what I do here, I hope you will consider subscribing to the channel. And I hope you will check out some of these videos that I posted here at the end screen as well. So with that being said, I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch this video, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.